Hello, Colin.
Hi.
Now, you've run your salon and you've worked on the hairstyles and makeup for lots of films and lots of TV shows, so you've had a long career in hairdressing. If you had to choose one high spot, what would it be?
I think my high spot was, I did a small stint on To Die Another Day, the James Bond film, and a couple of other things at that particular time. And when you've done a James Bond film, it does put you on another level. And my wife and I had been away for the weekend. This was after I'd done the James Bond. We'd been away for a weekend, come home, and I thought, I listened to my answer phone. It was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and this voice, with a strong American accent, said, "My name's Mish. I'm calling you from Hollywood. We'd love you, Colin, to come to New Zealand to film with Tom Cruise."
Wow.
Yes, it was wow, and then it was, is this a friend ringing me up? Because a lot of my friends were always saying to me, you know, when are you going to Hollywood? But then I realised it was genuine, and yes, I went to New Zealand. I did The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and I was out there for 11 weeks. It was fantastic.
Wonderful.
But that was the beginning, almost the beginning of my new career.
I know you've done lots of period films. What's been the greatest challenge you've had?
Period-wise, I would say when I worked on The Golden Age, working with Kate Blanchett, that was sort of sweetheart hairstyles, very high, but coming down into a sweetheart shape, with a shaved forehead, very, very elaborate, very challenging, and very creative, and it pulls out all your skills, all the skills you own, you use on something like that.
I'm sure.
So I think that's probably the most creative thing that I've done.
And when you're working on period hair, do you have to sort of tune it slightly so that it's attractive to the modern eye?
Well, it depends who you're making the film for. If you're making the film, you're either making the film for an independent, or making a film for, say, a British film company, or an American film company.
Okay.
Now, the Americans, if you do Victorian, for instance, for example, Victorians, most of the time, most Victorian women wore their hair, the middle parted, very, very pulled straight there, and then ringlets. Now, the Americans like a bit of softness in that, and they like a little bit more makeup, and so you have to bend the rules a little bit. You know, they're paying you to do the job, so you do what they want. If it's an independent film, you go for realism, and there is a massive difference.
And have you got a secret favourite person that you've worked with?
Oh, most definitely.
And who's that?
Well, I did Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked after Simon Callow in that film, and he was fantastic to work with. He had a wonderful sense of humour. He was so bright and cheerful first thing in the morning when you're getting on set at 6 o'clock, you know. It's nice to have an actor that's really bright. And he was enthusiastic, and I've kept in touch with him, and he's an extremely nice person, wonderful actor. Yes, I enjoyed working with him.
Can I ask you a question about ordinary people? Of course, a lot of ordinary people are going to be, well, extraordinary ordinary people are going to be listening to this interview.
Yes.
And if you were giving advice to older people about their hair, what advice would you give them?
There's no rules here, and I don't like. I think older people can sometimes go a little bit far with trying to be sometimes a little bit too trendy. I think that can look ridiculous if you're not careful. On the other hand, you know, the blue rinse doesn't exist in my world, so I'd rather somebody who didn't quite get it right trying to be trendy than having a blue rinse and you know, a nice tight perm. No, I don't go for that.
How have things changed over the years, especially in that respect? You're talking about blue
Yeah,
rinses.
oh, there is a massive change, massive. I mean, when I started as a hairdresser in the 60s, there was old hairstyles and young hairstyles. There was old customers and young customers. But it's the same with clothes. You know, with clothes, I mean, mum and daughter can borrow each other's clothes now, and that's really not a problem. That would never have been the case back in the 60s. You know, it just didn't happen. And it seemed to change if a girl was a girl until she got married, and then this sort of change used to happen. They felt they had to be more grown up and have a proper hairstyle. I can remember that. Yes.
I can
definitely.
remember being told that, you know, once I got to 30, I'd have to cut my hair.
Yeah.
I couldn't have long hair past
No.
30. It seems incredible.
It
now,
does,
doesn't
it does. I think the attitude to how a woman and a man look, it's so different to what it was back in the 60s.
A lot of people, as they get older, are really concerned about the way they look, you know, and they don't look the same as they look when they were young. What can they do about their hair to actually help them with that?
Well, of course, that is a natural thing for practically everyone gets concerned, and this includes men as well. I mean, men get concerned about how they look when they get older, and women do, of course. But I think there's something very attractive about the aging process. I don't think it's negative at all. I think it's a positive thing. But in order for it to work, then you've got to seek the professional hairdresser. I mean, the hair can have a massive impact on somebody's, not only how they look, but on their own feeling and how great they feel with a great hairstyle. So I think that you've got to find the right person, the right hairdresser that you can do that suits you, and they can create something that's different, trendier, younger looking, more youthful looking, without going OTT. And then, of course, the important thing about all that is the maintenance of it afterwards. For instance, in our case, my customers, I don't put hard sells onto them, but I always try to encourage them to buy good quality shampoos and conditioners for their hair, because it really, really does make a difference.
Colin, is there anything else you'd like to achieve in life?
I mean, there's so much out there. There's masses of things.
Thank you very much, Colin, for talking to me.
Pleasure.